So we're going to jump in, and I'm going to start over. I had my team delete that video. Obviously, this is my first live public appearance doing light language today, so I really want to make sure that the video quality is good and we're not getting interrupted. So please just check in with me and let me know how it looks. We rebooted everything and we started everything. So okay, all right. So let's start over. So I was kind of getting into, you know, the history of what light language is at the basic origin. And at the basic origin is this is the language that comes from the soul. This is the language that the soul speaks. This is the heart's language, and the heart is basically the seat of the soul. And in really understanding what light language is, you have to kind of understand who you are, because we're all speaking light language. We do it through dance, through writing, through song, through communication, through hand symbols, through deep levels of meditation. And the way that I feel the most empowered communicating light language is through communication, through the spoken word, which sometimes it comes out like a song. And what I was saying earlier before I got cut off is that basically when we're looking at light language through the quantum perspective, because this by no means, to me, light language by no means is religious or spiritual. It is the essence of the universe itself. And to me, the essence of the universe is very scientific. It is very sacred geometry. It is very ancient in its creation. And it has nothing to do with dogma or religious anything. Light is photonic energy. Photonic energy is information. And so basically what light language is, it's a form of information, it's a form of communication, it's a form of activation that literally is the essence of the soul. So earlier I was talking about the two matrices, because I teach a lot about the matrix. There's the third dimensional matrix of unawareness, and then there's the matrix of pure possibilities, pure positive potential, which is the quantum field of possibilities. Now, you are the quantum field of possibilities. You are the universe. And when you were born, you took all of that universe into this little body that you have, and you were born into the third dimensional matrix. So the giant matrix of you, pure positive potential, was born into separation. It was born into a collective of unawareness. It was born into a lack of remembrance of who you were. And so this whole time, you have been the universe, pure positive potential that speaks the language of unconditional love and potential inside. And as a child, you were able to demonstrate that a little bit, hopefully your first couple of years. And then collectively, you began to basically layer a barrier around that communication that stopped your direct communication of remembering that who you were inside. And you bought into this third dimensional matrix. This third dimensional matrix is kind of like what the movie is, where you've got to unplug. And this unawareness where things are outside of your control and you are not the creator of your reality, and you have to be quiet and you have to hold in your feelings, and you can't be yourself, and you can't be authentic, and you can't be original, and money is hard to make, and relationships are complicated, and love hurts. And that's really what the third dimensional matrix is based on, because you're here playing a game. You're here, the whole entire universe, in a little tiny living space, and you are surrounded in another virtual reality of separation. And the work here, the journey here, is to remember, is put yourself back together and get rid of all of the filters that you have forgotten and start to remember who you are. And so one of the natural things that babies know how to do is they know how to laugh and they know how to dance. And they just instantly move their bodies when they hear frequency, when they hear sound. And we have basically been taught to shut that down. You know, don't do that. Dance like no one's looking, you know, don't do those things. And basically what we're doing is, as a collective, is we are in the middle of a huge revolution where we are all coming out of the closet saying, no, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I came here to do. This is what I came here to share. And this is what makes me feel alive. And so a lot of us are kind of breaking the chains of the third dimensional matrix, and we're awakening. And as we awaken, we remember more and more of ourselves. So there's basically, and the ascension works this way in the quantum perspective. Now, everybody has a different take on how the ascension works. But in my 4th grade, dumbed down, easy to follow guidelines, I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to have 12 awakenings before you fully ascend back into source energy. 12. And you're going to have each aspect of yourself remember, become more aware that you are source energy, that you are the universe. So it's going to take you these 12 waves that are going to come through you and shove you into remembering through pressurized life experience. And through this pressurized life experience, you're going to begin to navigate back to your own truth, okay? So in understanding light language, you have to understand that the 7 chakras within your body are different forms of communication that have a different multidimensional purpose to help you move back to ascension. You've got 7 in the body, and you've got 12 chakras that you're using constantly to navigate the planet and the cosmos. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to keep it real 4th grade so that everybody can understand light language from a really easy perspective. Okay, so the first chakra represents I am. Now, if I was going to use a light language to demonstrate I am, it would be a stomp, right? A stomp is I am. My presence is here. I am here. I am now. Okay, so the stomp. And if you look at the ancients, they used stomping to basically intend that they were here and they were one with Mother Earth. So the stomping. So you see the stomping artist, and it gets your body moving, right? And as you move into the sacral energy, the frequency is I create. Now this is I create, which is basically a perfect manifestation of both masculine and feminine energies coming together to create form. A baby, a business, a family, a project, I create. And the movement of the light language of the body to move in sequence of dance would literally be an infinity symbol created by the hips. So it would be this, it would literally be an infinity symbol that your hips would do, okay? And if you do this, you'll notice you're speaking light language you're communicating your sacral energy. And as you move into your solar plexus, which is what we are in now as a collective light workers, we are moving into the 3rd phase of ascension, which is I demonstrate, which is my solar plexus. I share, I demonstrate my I am to the world. If you guys have been following my teachings, all I've been saying is show up, share, do your thing, write your podcast, write your book, share your story, speak your language, do whatever it is you're doing, because we are in the 3rd phase of awakening, which is I demonstrate. And that's why it's time for us all to come out of the closet and speak our light language, however it is that you can perceive it or want to deliver it to the world. Because believe it or not, unconsciously, subconsciously, everyone, everything can understand you when you're speaking from the soul. So as we move out of I demonstrate into the heart is I love. I love, right? I love. I am love. But translated, I love. And this is all about the arm extensions. This is all about the vortex of what the heart can do. This is the hug. This is the embrace. This is the spin. This is the movements, okay? And as we move up to the throat chakra, this is I speak or I sing. So that's another form of you speaking light language. When you just feel like you want to sing in the car as loud as you can and it helps you move through energy, you're speaking a light language anytime you sing, okay? Singing is truth. It is getting that energetic flow from your heart out of your body, a form of communication. That is another way of speaking light language is through singing. Now, the next one is interesting because it is the 3rd eye, and it is I see. But have you ever heard that sentence that people say is, oh, I see how you feel. I see what you mean. They're not seeing, they're feeling right from here. So this is all about the movement around of seeing everything, but moving in sequence of the body, okay? So I see how you feel, I see. And as we move into the crown chakra, it is I know. But this particular light language is I dance, I'm in rhythm, I'm in the flow. And if you have ever gotten caught up in the music and allowed yourself to let go, maybe after a couple of drinks, maybe after something, after you get a little liquid courage in you and you start to move and all of a sudden you're in perfect rhythm with the song, you are the universe experiencing itself. And that's why this tour that we have coming up is so important, because we're going to bring all the light languages to the stage. We're going to bring every form of communication that the soul communicates from into the masses. Because the reason why is I have studied every form of psychology that there is. I have studied deep NLP. I have studied deep hypnosis. I have taught all of these things. I have taken people into regressions of past lives. I have taken people everywhere. And I love it, but there's always a block point. And the block point is language. See, when I say the word God, there's a part of you that either resonates or rejects that word. And if you resonate with that word, you have a definition attached to what I say. And so therefore you have an identity attached to God. So I cannot say God and you be completely neutral on it, because you may have charge connected at the energetic level from your ancestry, from your upbringing, from your childhood school. So you're going to have a charge on that word. The other word that I've noticed is the greatest charge when I'm working with people is the word love. Love is usually associated with pain. It is usually associated with loss. And so therefore, if I say the word love in a quantum healing hypnosis or in a regression process or in a life coaching session, I can feel the resistance coming from the ego. I can feel the resistance of, I don't know if that's true for me. Belief systems. See, belief systems register language. They register body language. They are triggered based on an essence and a feeling, right? So light language is the language that bypasses the ego. It bypasses the trigger point, which means when you see someone dancing and they're just in rhythm, you're in awe because they're in communication with the flow of the universe. When you hear someone singing that takes your breath away, they're in total rhythm of communication with the universe. When you sing, you feel connected. When you move your body, you feel connected. When you move your hands, you feel connected, right? When you allow yourself to flow, you are speaking the light language, okay? And so what I've noticed is when I'm working with people, I'm able to see their subconscious, their unconscious, and their conscious minds in action, which means there's usually 3 conversations going on with people at all times that they're very unaware of. You know, on the outside, they're saying, oh yeah, I'm great. On the inside, they're like, I'm just so lonely and sad. And on the unconscious level, they're saying, I just want to connect with myself. I want to love myself. I want to be myself. I want to heal myself. So there's these 3 conversations going on all the time with people. And it's very difficult for me in life coaching session to figure out who is the most aware connection to connect with, to have a conversation with, because the conscious mind is saying I'm okay and everything's great, and the subconscious is upset about this and this and this, and the unconscious is lost in a trauma from the 14th century. And so what I'm trying to do is bring this back together, the fractal pieces of you back together, create harmony of your 7 chakras, because you basically have 7 players on your team that if they were all speaking the same light language, you would fully become enlightened very quickly. But if the root is saying one thing and the crown is saying another thing, you're going to be in a disassociation. You're going to basically be a walking contradiction. So what I'm using light language for now, first and foremost on myself, to heal some deep parts of me, was to basically bring balance back to myself, to bring the communication back to me. And so that my root and my crown are in alignment with what my heart is saying. And we're all playing on the same team, because basically the enemy outside is the reflection of the enemy within. And the enemy within is basically that we just don't know how to play nice together because we've forgotten that we are the universe. And so light language bypasses all of the ego trigger points of the psychological language that is spoken, based on your upbringing, based on your religious background, based on your lineage, based on your bloodline. I mean, there was actually something that occurred when I was creating this tour with my team, and I wanted to call it something specific. And the professionals that are creating the workshop in Florida said, no, you can't call it that. That's going to upset this community. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you can't say that word. It's going to upset this community. And I thought, oh, this is why I love light language. Because although when I start speaking it, your ego is going to be like, what the heck is she saying? It sounds like gibberish. Your ego will also be curious. And curiosity is a frequency a lot higher than judgment. And when you're curious, when you're looking for patterns in my voice and you can't find them, you're going to be looking with me, which means you're going to go on the journey with me, and I'm going to bypass the ego. I'm going to bypass the walls that you've built to keep pain out, and I'm going to say certain things that if I said directly to you, you would put up a wall. So when I say and speak the light language, it gets right into the heart, it gets right into the DNA, and it begins to activate you on a cellular level that would normally be rejected through basic communication because of old trigger points, of old judgment, of old stories and old memories. So again, I love cheat codes, I love fast forward buttons. This is the way that I have been able to get in under the ego, through the back door, into the soul, communicate directly with that soul, and basically get that body to surrender and shift into potential, the true matrix of who you are, pure positive potential. Okay, so is this making sense? Awesome. Oh, this is looking good. I'm very excited. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what the purpose of light language is it is first and foremost the purpose because it is the truth of who you are. And we all, people who speak light languages, we're all going to have it through our unique expression of our souls. And I happen to be able to speak 12 different dialects of light language. And I have no idea how. It's just communication is just one way that allows me to be fully free, is to be able to communicate. So I think that's why I have allowed myself to remember this part of me. And but just know that if I'm speaking light language and you're dancing and singing, you're speaking light language too. You're speaking light language when you dance, when you sing, when you write, when you play, when you skip, when you hop, when you scribble, when you draw, right? When you speak an unconditional way, right? So I'm making sure that I remember everything here before I get into the light language itself. I just really wanted to explain for people who were unsure of what it was, that it isn't something that, select people can do. It is something that we're all doing. And if we would get back to the way that we speak, our souls speak, it would help us shift so much faster. So if you've been really desiring dancing lately, just wait till no one's home and close all the blinds if you're worried about judgment, and just move your body and play music, because it's all about frequency, it's all about vibration. We're going to recode this planet using sacred geometry and sound and light, and that is going to be the fastest way, and it's all going to feel like a big party. Because the Earth is actually moving into 6th and 7th dimension right now, and humans are trying to integrate 5th dimension. 5th dimension is the party on the planet. It is instant manifestation. And if I want instant communication, I have to speak light language to you. And so that's why I'm coming out of the closet, and I'm making my debut basically live here. And I wanted to do it with this group first because I have felt very safe and protected having my little family here. And I'm sure this will be shared on YouTube, but I don't want to know about it. And I want to be able to not only speak the light language, but I want to do an activation for all of you that are participating. I will ask you, if you have earphones, it will get into that inner matrix quicker because you don't have any sound buffer of things going on around you. In a perfect world, I'd be in a studio with my voice being captured in really good quality sound, but I'm just on my boyfriend's laptop right now, so that's what we've got. So I would like for you to put on headphones. If you're not watching this live, you can do it, do the replay anytime later. And basically, because your brain is going to be receiving this frequency and it's going to be sharing it to your body, and your DNA is going to be communicating back to me, and therefore I'm going to be in communication with all of you, which means it's not a one-sided communication. It's almost like as soon as I start speaking, your bodies, your souls will start speaking back to me, and for 3 to 15 minutes, depending on how long we go, I will be in communication with anyone that's in communication with me. It's almost like when you go to a foreign country and you're walking down the street and you hear someone else speaking English and you're like, oh my gosh, they can hear me. That is literally what your body does when it starts hearing the light language. It is literally like, yes, I know what that is. So have an open mind. You know, if you're judging me, that's your story. And I just want you to have the experience. You know, when someone asked me, do I judge myself when I'm doing the light language? And I will tell you, if you're starting to speak the light language and you're afraid to go public with it, or you're afraid to do it on your clients, I have a secret for you that I've used to kind of utilize my, you know, because I have an ego. And as soon as I start speaking light language, my ego is like, girl, what are you doing? You need to stop. So what I've actually taught myself to do is when I start speaking the light language, I go lucid. And so if I go lucid, I go into a dream state where I'm in non-judgment of what is happening. I'm just in the story. And then as soon as I come out of my sequence or my conversation, then it all starts to come back to me like waking up from a dream. And then I can remember like what I said, and I can get the storyline, I can get who showed up to channel through me. I can get like all of that, but I'm not in the moment judging myself. And therefore, I am in that state of lucid, basically following along with whatever is happening. So that could be something that you guys could try, is to put yourself in more of a dreamlike state and just let it flow through you. And then once you complete, look back at it and then try to determine what it is and what it means. So basically what I'm going to do is I have no idea what is going to come out of me. I know that I was told that the message, that the conversation was going to be about, it's time to let go of fear, help you activate your DNA, your strength, your inner matrix, that pure positive potential that resides inside of you, so that you can step out of your comfort zone and be in that third chakra, which is I demonstrate. I demonstrate myself, my love, my gifts, my creation, my heart. That is where we are right now as a collective, is I demonstrate. So letting go of fear in the solar plexus. You've got tummy aches, you've got gut issues. That is what it's about. It's time for you to demonstrate your truth to the world, okay? All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to basically open up a conversation with whoever is live, whoever is listening. Now, light language is layered in about 15 to 25 different frequencies. And so there's going to be waves that are going to come at you. Maybe on the surface, you won't feel anything. You won't understand anything. Some of you may cry. Some of you may just be like irritated. That's okay. But it's not going to bother me because I'm secure with myself, and I've already seen what it can do to my own body, what it can do for my life, and what it has done for many, many, many of my students. So I'm secure with who I am doing this, and however it shows up for you, let it be what it needs to be. All right? Okay. So the conversation that I would like to have with you is, first and foremost, is all of you first and foremost, just really get, if you're in a place where you can hear me and your life is quiet, just really ground your energy. And just be where you are. Let go of what you have to do. Let go of what you've got to, what you're thinking about me right now. Let go of what's happening around you, and just be. And I always ask people to close their eyes. I'm going to close my eyes because it helps me go into my interior matrix instead of constantly viewing circumstances on the outside matrix. It allows me to go into my inner world where it's always peaceful if I choose it to be, and allow myself to be free to open up the channel and speak the language basically of the soul. And if you have headphones, because your brain is going to receive and then perceive, okay? So allow that that sound and frequency to get right into your body and house inside without any outside filters. And you can always listen to the replay at any given moment because I don't see the time, but we're at 25 minutes and 37 seconds if you guys want to do the replay on this light language. I just want to thank you guys for letting me be present and letting me be a voice and allowing me to be here. I'm just so grateful that I get to actually live my mission on this planet and help so many people, and I'm not going to get emotional, and just be here in complete, vulnerable, transparent truth. All right? So I'm going to ground, and then it's going to come forth. And it'll go as long as it wants to go. As long as you guys are communicating back to me, this relationship, this communication will go, and it will go into a completion. Once it goes into completion, I'll take a breath, and then I will actually translate what was said in language that most of you can understand, hopefully. Okay? All right, so first I want everybody just to ground, and I want you to really relax your shoulders and your neck, and just realize that brain in your head is a very important translator of information. And your brain is breathing constantly, and it has a left and a right hemisphere. And as your left and right hemisphere breathes, it's constantly in communication with the rest of the universe. All right? So I just want you to visualize that left and right side of your brain and open yourself up from the inside to the pure positive potential that is waiting for you to create itself through your own demonstration, your own experience, your own visualization, and your own heart field. All right? I'm just going to take a breath.
Akhirnya ungana itu angga handa meter kotor na hindi nagsunan to tama meter sto na hindi ganda na ide kanda na kotor udere ka akhirnya tu kere angga na sa na hande kana to test ko ne tar ka tar ki stikam akhirnya su kusene bas kana shi ganda na ganda na ke tar ka kana bi ona hana no ne to sana ganda na ka hana ngane lo akhana na khana do I got ako hosni kom अगर आउँदा आउँदै दोक्सेसना तक्स्टना उन्ते त कान्दार कत कष्टना उन्नाने का नोमलेना अनि उन्नाने भन्दा के त्यसना त कस्ता करतो त्यसना के त्यस कान्तुन्डु न आहानर कतो कतिस्टना दि पछि कोदे आहाने कोस्ता करस्ट कोते एस्ता अगर त आजर ते कस्टना त लिस्ट कोते एस कर अगर त कस्टना के ते कस्टना त कान्दाना त ता कते आखरे त ते अगर त कान्तिस को त कति कोते ने कान्दाना हन्नी कुतो आंखरे तर कष्टना Ada kata dia kata ada kata termo deh, atau betul kana handa betul itu ya dari nana ne kota dia nama kata muter itu suku terku. Turku tu dulu lemu tak kota dah sokne tu tu, aun dari kata kota dari ante kata suku terku saya tu kata itu. Ada kata suku mana na, ini orang kata tu tu cuma tu na dah handa betul suku terku. Orang tu ni ada tu kereta. Terut, ada kemudian bun handa bun tu kelihatan thang khandre dal terus bun bun terkah. Onun dari kata sa, sekro. Asar gashte kaun tari kaha taru tari kaha tari kaun tari mana hati, holy ana hani no hai na gashte na kata tu hindi jata. Sekro, kata mo na mun dari ganda under ko te chukata under to no to kata the heart. Hari kau bata the heart or the heart na ko bata heart or bata how to be yani so clean throat. Aron honda ay on na ba tunda do be andi ko na le no nang buta lo am lo ga sa ra chukon te ka re ga sa ka tara sa tara no ha no ite no to da onda le to te tu no se sta ta onda ta ai to mundo to go te lo buta ta te te ka ta list ka ta sa ata do mo da to ka ta do inda ta andari etari do undere ka ta ka da ai na re ta Ai no sta no honda to no to dari to te so ke ta to no la hana da ba hunde da asta dara ka stara sa dara ko to ba ka after ka ta mun da ne ka da ni are ka to stuck we are complete. Okay. All right. Woo! Thank you guys so much for letting me share this little journey with you today and explain to you from the quantum side of reality what light language is and and how it can allow us to be more free and be more present and be more aware. So I wanted to go ahead and translate what that message was. And basically, it was beautiful because it was a lot of you guys communicating with your souls and the universal souls that have been very lonely and feeling very alone and feeling like no one can hear you and no one can see you and that you haven't been safe. And so it was a homecoming conversation, soul to soul. It was very beautiful. Imagine yourself being surrounded by everyone that's ever loved you, that everyone who is in heaven looking down at you, proud of you, your angels guiding you, your guides cheering you on, and just imagine that they all were allowed to talk to you in this moment and give you something that was really, really special and say, never, ever, ever be afraid of your heart. Never be afraid to be vulnerable to love. Never be afraid to be transparent to the truth of who you are and your message to this world, because it is only when we can be the example that we are really going to light up this world and we're really going to be able to save this planet by not being part of the problem, which is fear, because there are only two frequencies left on this planet, and that is fear and that is love. So allowing ourselves to be part of the solution and remember who we are and dance like everyone's watching and sing regardless of our tone of voice and speak light language even though it sounds like gibberish
and move your body and write your stories and tell your story of your past and how you're a survivor and what has made you great today. And know that everybody in the non-physical realm is not only cheerleading you on, but helping you move mountains so that you can show up here and be that bright, shining light that you came here to be. So thank you guys for allowing me to be authentic and be here today. And I'll see you guys on the flip side in the paid group, where I'm going to go ahead and do my question and answer live for my group. Thank you guys.